I am taking you on a journey to find out what happens when 100 days of Stardew Valley meets an unpredictable spinner wheel. Every major decision is dictated by this very wheel. It can add new tasks, prevent me from crafting, ruin my relationships, set back my progress, and add other annoying detours while my goal list continues to grow. And we never know when it is going to pop up and ruin the day. Here are some basic choices I spun for to get set up. Now, it is time to spin for my farm type. This is the first of many major spins. And it is Hilltop. The spinner has chosen. Let's go. On day 1, I planted parsnips and then explored my farm because I have never played this farm type before and knew nothing about it. This is where I ran into problem number 1. There is large stumps and rocks blocking most of the bridges on this farm, so it made it very hard to navigate. I'm not sure if this is on purpose or just bad luck, but let me know if this has ever happened to you. And then, bam, a spinner wheel appears, and I guess what is a Stardew Valley playthrough without a money goal? But I really need this to be a low amount because, well, I am not good at making money quickly. Oh, of course it's the second highest one. Of course it is. On day 2, I zoomed in my camera for the rest of the playthrough and watered my crops, of course. I'd also decided to fish all day, and in the evening I found a bubbling fishing spot, which was very helpful because fishing is good early money and I'm not going to get to 1.5 million if I don't get an early start. I also failed getting a treasure chest, got lost on the way home. Oh, and another spinner appeared. This time I had to spin twice for 2 items I could not craft for the entire 100 days. If I got them from another source I could use them, but I can't craft them. No one is shocked it rained on day 3, so I spent the whole day fishing. It might be a good time to tell you as well that all the boring days I'm going to breeze by so I can focus on the really interesting stuff. Today, I bought some more crops to plant and found a very creepy note. Not to be rude, Grandpapa. And it really sunk in today that there is a quarry on my farm. That is perfect because I always spend way too much time in the mines. Hashtag foreshadowing. On day 5, I got a lucky cookie and bread from the trash, cracked some geodes, and I got a treasure while fishing. I also ran into problem number 2. But I didn't realize it was a problem until a few days later. Day 6, I was ready to rock with the community center, and I spent some time fishing. A wild spinner appeared. Time to choose a partner. It's Leah. And that brings us to our third goal. Okay, remember when I mentioned problem number 2 about 48 seconds ago? When I visited the traveling cart today to look for red cabbage, I realized I did not check it on day 5. Am I already going to fail the community center? And I don't even know it because I can't go back and relive day 5? Well, we'll never know what I missed in that mysterious first cart. Day 8, I completed my first bundle to get my spring seeds, and then I decided to visit the mines and I got down to level 5 and got my first elevator level. On day 9, I realized I should probably start gifting Leah, so I tracked her down and gave her a loved gift. I spent way too much money on it, but I couldn't think of anything else that she loved. And then I went back to the mines hoping to make a little bit more progress, spent way too much time fighting slimes, and didn't quite get through level 9 before I had to turn around and go home. After gifting Leah on day 10, I went fishing and got a very lucky treasure with only okay results for geodes, and then I caught my first iridium fish, which I don't think I've ever done this early, embarrassingly enough. Then on day 11, I decided to build a well because, well, I got very tired of walking so far to fill up my watering can, and if I'm gonna hit all these goals, I think I'm gonna need to be a little bit more efficient. I had a pretty decent harvest, so I immediately went and bought some more crops, speaking of efficiency, and then I wanted to save the rest of my money plus whatever I made tomorrow for the egg festival. On day 12, I remembered to check the traveling cart, but unfortunately no red cabbage seeds today. I also found a fishing spot, which is great because I want to make as much money today as possible. I also got to level 10 in the mines. On day 13, I tilled and watered a bunch of land to plant all the strawberries I'm going to buy with my 4,000 gold. But first, a spinner to decide what percentage of my money I can actually spend on the strawberries. So yeah, 25% not ideal at all, especially when I'm trying to make so much money. And then I realized I also calculated wrong. I could only buy 9.84, not 10 strawberries. So there goes another 100 gold wasted. And yes, I threw them out because I'm that dedicated to the video. On day 14, I did go to the travel cart, but for future days, if nothing notable happens with the travel cart, you'll just see this little image here so that you know I went. I decided to upgrade my backpack today and then buy a bunch of potatoes and get them planted so I could keep the money coming in. I got to level 15 in the mines and made some copper bars on my way home, and then when I went to bed, I hit level 3 foraging, which allows me to craft the tappers. So back on day 2, we rolled some of the machines that we can't craft, and this tapper unlocking is very important because my go-to is actually preserve jars very early, and so because I know I'm not going to be able to use preserve jars at all, I need to focus on kegs, which means I need tappers to start getting oak resin. Day 15, I had a very big harvest, sprinted to Pierre's to get some more cauliflower so I could get that planted, and then crafted my first tappers to get those working. On day 16, I timed my walk home wrong and passed out before I made it to bed. The next day was a very good money-making day as I had a big harvest. I also donated some things to the museum, and then I finally had something very lucky happen to me. So I awoke to harvestable strawberries, and I wasn't sure if I was going to now get 3 harvests instead of 2. I was too excited at the time to calculate, so I thought I would just wait to see what happens. I also had a realization that salmon berries actually do give you a little bit of energy. For some reason, I thought they gave you 0, so that is perfect. I can use it for energy recuperation. On day 19, I made a panic buy, a battery pack for 2,500 gold, and to this day, I still cannot tell you what I was thinking. I also hit level 5 fishing, which brings me to professions. I did spin to randomize which profession I took, but I almost always got exactly the one I wanted. There were only a few that were really high stakes rolls, so we'll talk about those ones specifically when we get there. Nothing too interesting happened on day 20, but I did find a garbage can hat for the first time ever, so I was pretty stoked about that. And then I also hit level 5 farming. I didn't realize it at the time, but I actually am very thankful that I did not hit rancher because, well, I just don't know what would have happened if I did. It rained on day 21, so I just hit the mines all day and got to level 40. We haven't seen the spinner wheel in a few days, but today I had to roll for my best friend, which added another goal is to get 10 hearts with the best friend. So let's see who we got. Also had a second harvest of strawberries, so clearly there will be 3, but at the time I still wasn't sure because I can't math. I also picked up my axe and finally cleared one of the paths that were blocking my farm. Day 23 brought another spinner, and this time it was mushrooms or bats. I was very annoyed to get mushrooms because I felt like it was going to be harder to complete the community center if I didn't get the fruit bats. If you're enjoying the video, please leave a like. It really helps small creators like myself get the video shared to others, so thank you so much in advance. Then I made some progress with Leah, only for her to reject me the next day at the spring dance. Today I put in some serious work on all my goals. I gifted Robin, and I also completed 3 bundles for the community center. And then I used this neat little hack where you can complete a quest for Clint instantly by just buying the ores from him. I passed out in the mines at the end of the last night. So on day 26, I awoke to a very nasty letter from JojaMart that I was billed almost 1,000 gold for them to bring me home. Thanks, Joja. The rest of the day, I just spent preparing for summer, clearing my farm, and collecting wood so I could start crafting some kegs. Day 27 was almost shambles because I bought an apple tree since I didn't have the fruit bat cave, and I thought I might as well get the full value of it in fall by planting it right now. But then I almost spent the other half of my money on a coop. No, I am supposed to be saving for summer crops. So I didn't go get the rest of the money I needed for the coop, and so instead, I spent the rest of the day in the mines looking for gemstones and forageables to sell for money. Last day of spring, I impulse bought ancient seeds. Again, not sure why. I hit level 70 in the mines, and as you can tell from the time, I ended up passing out. So I woke up on summer 1 with another 900 gold lost. Such pain. Completed a quest for Sam and had a big planting day. Summer is definitely go time for money making, so I wanted to get as many crops in the ground as possible. The next 7 days were truly just a boring grind, so here are the highlights. Day 30, melons planted, bundle completed. Day 31, magnet ring from the bundle needed. Day 32, boiler room completed, yay minecarts. Day 33, gifting to Leah and Robin, and the travel cart. Day 34, crafted some sprinklers. Day 35, more melons. Day 36, mining and a surprise ghost fish. Day 37, let's revisit this. I am feeling good about almost all the goals so far, except I do keep missing Robin, and I probably could be a little bit further with Leah, but we still have lots of time, so I'm not too worried. I have a foolproof plan for money, and I'm cruising through the bundles, so what could go wrong? And then the preserve jars are an annoying roadblock that I've had to navigate around, but I think I've done a pretty good job. And then to be really real with you, I don't care about the mayonnaise makers. There were so many worse choices, and I can get around this one no problem. On this day, I just planted some more crops, crafted a couple more sprinklers, and cleared my quarry. Then on day 38, I completed the lake fish bundle, tended to my crops, and you might be thinking, why am I utilizing so little of my farm space? Well, I wish I asked myself that exact same question on this day. This is problem number 3. We're going to talk about this way more when we get to fall, and it will become glaringly clear why this was such a problem. Day 39, and it is time for the community luau. I was extremely excited for this because, like I had just mentioned, I had been kind of slacking on giving gifts to people, especially Leah and Robin, so I figured I'm going to give a really good gift for the luau, it'll boost all my friendship, and then I'm going to be caught right back up. Right? Wrong. Of course, the spinner wheel has appeared, and it's going to determine what I can give to the luau, so it might be great, or it might be a disaster. Let's find out. I have no words. I'm trying not to spiral, but at this point, I'm a little bit nervous. Even though I felt like I was making good progress, things like this can really set you back, especially because you can only gift people twice a week. So we're going to have to really start focusing here. All right, so day 40, let's get on track here. I start to reap the benefits of my future cash cow crop hops, and then I spent some time in the mines gathering some useful resources that I was going to use to make some more money. Then on day 41, it rained, so I spent most of the day in the mines. I wanted to try to get that completed as soon as possible so I could stop worrying about that. I am not an expert at combat in this game, and I almost died quite a few times on this day, but this was the closest call, and thank goodness I had some food with me. I seem to be very short of wood this day, so on day 42, I just chopped wood literally all day so that I could make kegs, afford some coops and barns. It was really boring. It stormed on day 43, but I don't care because I bought a battery pack on day 19 from the travel cart for $2,500. Yes, I'm still a little tilted about that. But anyways, yes, it rained, so I focused on completing some more bundles, and I had just recently completed a coop, so I bought 4 chickens. Not that I can make mayonnaise or anything, but the eggs will still be very useful. I also had a cutscene with Leah, and some of these cutscenes are so funny because it's like, you know what, I'm just going to eavesdrop on your conversation and then block the only exit from your house, so you have to talk to me about it. And then I also thought this was going to be the best response, and I was so pumped about it. And then I realized, okay, maybe not. Day 44, very simple day. I spent a little bit of time in the mines and cut down some more trees for my future kegs. Day 45, boring, just another mining day collecting iron ore. On day 46, after I tended to my little chickens and collected some eggs, I finally gained access to the secret woods, and I managed to catch a wood skip, which I did need for the rare fish bundle. Day 47, I was just minding my own business, collecting my silly little hops and my other silly little crops, thinking about how much money I'm going to make from pale ale once I convert all this hops into beer. And then it was at this exact moment where I saw I had my first batch of pale ale ready and decided, well, I'm not going to sell it now. I'm going to wait till I hit level 10 farming so I have the artisan profession. Now, maybe you already thought of this a long time ago, but it took me this long to realize there's no guarantee that I'm getting the artisan profession. In fact, I couldn't even remember if I had the right level 5 profession to even have that as an option. I quickly went back and checked, and yes, I did roll for tiller, thank goodness, but there's still a big unknown here. I needed a barn if I was ever going to complete the community center, so I decided to go buy one. Or did I? No, the spinner wheel got to decide, could I buy a barn, or am I getting another coop? That would really screw me over. So luckily, I did get barn, and I just want to reiterate how little resources I had at this point. I even had to buy the wood for whichever one I got, and so if I had to waste a bunch of resources and money on coop, it was over for me. Also, I put this in the worst place ever. Day 49, I immediately decided that barn was not going to stay there, so I set out to actually do some planning for once and build an animal area. It was also time to collect my gold bars and my pale ale and refresh my kegs. Day 50, so obviously we're at the halfway point here, and I decided to buy a pomegranate tree because in the event that I don't get a preserve jar or a mayonnaise maker from community center rewards or a mine drop or something like that, I am going to be very short on the animal bundles. So now that I had the barn going, I thought, you know what, I gotta sink some money into this tree just to make sure. This is also the day where I started to clue in that, wait a minute, maybe I should be utilizing this space for crops. And so I started to clear it so at least I could be ready for fall. If you have any thoughts of if I'm gonna meet these goals, if I'm not gonna meet these goals, throw one down in the comments and put day 50 at the beginning of the comments so I know you're at this point in the video. I really want to hear from you. What do you think is going to happen? And then I will also urge you to drop all your expectations because there is still so much more that can and will and does happen. And just buckle up. Day 51, I finally got my steel pickaxe so that I could break up all those annoying boulders blocking all my bridges on my farm. On day 52, I finally completed a little bit of my animal haven at least to make it functional, and then I went and purchased a cow so I could start getting some of those animal products, and now I need to start thinking about upgrading both of the coop and the barn. And then speaking of upgrades, I also decided to upgrade my house today. I can't complete the marriage goal if I don't upgrade my house, so let's just get it done right now. Then on day 53, I ran into Leah, and I had this lucky lunch from earlier, so I decided today was the day to put it to work in the mines and hopefully get really lucky and make some progress, which worked out really good because I hit level 100 and got a star drop, and then I also hit level 110. The next day on day 54, it was a great day. It was raining, so I didn't have to water any of my crops. I gifted Robin because, well, I had no reason not to. She's literally right on my farm. And then, after being so diligent, going to the traveling cart every single day other than that first day I missed, finally, we got them. Red cabbage seeds, heck yeah. This playthrough wasn't a waste of time because it wasn't already over on day 5 and I had no idea. Now I realize it is possible to complete this challenge. The only sort of problem to that is that I don't have a greenhouse yet, but I am working on that. But now it is imperative that I get that greenhouse, and I have to do it early enough so I can actually grow the cabbage and finished that bundle. I also caught a catfish, which I really needed for the community center, and I'm terrible at fishing. And then I went and finished the mines. I didn't necessarily need to finish the mines in this playthrough, but I am so glad I did, because the skull key becomes incredibly valuable later in this playthrough, and I can't wait for you to see why. It's the second last day of the season, so of course it is time for me to almost spend all my money that I was saving for crops on a coop or a barn. Luckily I didn't buy it, but then I also realized I don't have that much money to spend on crops next month, and I need to still make a lot of money. I do still have quite a bit of harvesting left, but I decided to get to work and try to make some cash in the next couple of days. Last day of summer, and I woke up to a very nice surprise. Leah gave me this sculpture, and then I decided it was time to prepare, and as you can see, I am ready to go for fall because I do have to make some serious money. This was also the perfect week for the travel cart. I bought a sandfish and some goat cheese, 2 things I can cross off my community center list, especially the sandfish, which I knew I would have difficulty catching. Okay, day 57, fall 1, it is go time. This is the last full month that I have, so I decided to, of course, plant all day. I planted a little bit of every crop, but I mostly planted pumpkins and cranberry seeds because, well, pumpkins just sell for a good price and they're easy to maintain. And then cranberries, I figured maybe I could turn into some wine if I got through all of my hops. I also planted some rare seeds just for fun. On day 58, I completed the night fishing bundle and finally got a glow ring. Then on day 59, I completed the fish tank, and I cannot believe this is my second one completed. It's usually one of my very last ones, if not the last one, so I was really pumped. Day 60, I worked on the cave patrol quest and planted some more crops. Then I really started to panic about my goals. I am still comically far away from the money goal, and even the community center, there are a few items I'm just not sure that I will obtain. The friendship goals are definitely still possible, but there are some challenges with that too, which will come to light later in the fall. Day 62, I finished the cave patrol quest and got a whopping 6,000 gold reward. That was so worth. Day 63, I planted a bunch of yams and spent the day in the mines, and then on day 64, I went berry hunting. I also upgraded my barn, had my first harvest of cranberries. Side note, I still have not hit level 10 farming yet, so should I even save these for wine? I don't know. Day 65, I took on a fishing quest, and maybe I'm delusional here, but I got so many chests fishing today that it completely erased all my worries about hitting all of the goals. I am on fire. I am the king of fortune and community. Nothing can stop me. Day 66. This should really have an extra 6 on it because I woke up to this spinner wheel. I should have expected this, being that we're 2/3 of the way through, but here we are. A crossroads, a rite of passage. Let me explain my hopes and fears for each of these choices. Best case scenario, adding 12 extra days to the 100 days. I would love to have the entire first year. Time is not on my side, and this is by far the only good choice for me. Next best, if I had to pick, would obviously be nothing. It still isn't great because I actually need something good to happen at this point. I am desperate. I am on my pixel art knees. But it's still the second best choice. Sell everything. Obviously shambles. My red cabbage seeds are sitting in a chest still waiting to be planted in a greenhouse that I don't have, as well as multiple community center items waiting to be donated since I have to donate them in the order they appear on the bundle. Yeah, this is not a rule, this is just a me thing. Then trash everything. This is by far the worst because I won't even get any money from all these items disappearing, and at this point, I just don't know what will happen if I do spin this one, so let's hope for any of the other 3, literally. Here we go. It is time. Okay, well, part of me is like, that was anticlimactic, And then part of me is like, I should actually be happy with this because the other choices were so bad, but I also can't help but feeling I need these 12 days. I deserve these 12 days, but I guess I'm just going to carry on and see what happens. Day 67, I really just need a break from this spinner Okay, so hit level 10 farming and have no choice but to spin for the only profession I care about? All right, here we go. So great, I hit artisan. That was a lot of stress for nothing. These profession ones, because it was a 50-50 chance, like I said, I mostly hit the ones that I wanted, but the amount of stress I had leading up to this spin cannot be understated. Day 68, I upgraded to a big coop so I could unlock ducks. And then on day 69, I just chilled. Just kidding, no spinner today. I sold some pale ale with my new profession, the one that I have been talking about this whole video, and the results were a little bit lackluster. I had sold some of the pale ale before I hit level 10 because I needed some cash flow, but can I just go back to summer 1 and plant about 50 more of these hops plants? All of that stress for this. Anyways, moving on, we had a great day 70. I got a duck, plus a big harvest, and I completed the vault. I visited Skull Cavern on day 71. It was a huge failure. I thought Monday was staircase day at the trader, and then I ran into so many enemies, I just left. I did manage to upgrade to the deluxe coupe, though. Day 72. You're probably not surprised to hear I forgot to bring anything for the fair. And if it wasn't already clear, I just refused to restart a day or respin the wheel for that matter because I am just too obsessive with my rules of these 100-day playthroughs, which meant no 1,000 tokens to start out with. I still managed to hit 2,000 tokens and got another star drop. Heck yeah. Planted some more crops on day 73 and then got a lucky ring from the Skull Cavern. This is a sign, everyone. Yeah. This was about 30 seconds later. Day 74, Leah and I officially became boyfriend and girlfriend, and the next day after buying a rabbit, I got to be part of her art show. Day 76, I spent all day in the Skull Cavern, and then day 77, I finally got my staircases from the Desert Trader. Speaking of trading, you might have noticed I stopped putting up the traveling cart checkup, and that is because right after getting my cabbage seeds, I stopped checking the cart because I am a fool. Then on day 78, I found another lucky ring and had a great day in the mines. Okay, this time it's a sign. The next day I finished the pantry so I could finally unlock the greenhouse and get my red cabbage seeds planted, and I chopped a bunch of wood because I was actually very low on foraging levels. Hashtag foreshadowing. I also reached 9 hearts with Leah. Hashtag more foreshadowing. On day 80, I completed the chef bundle, went to the Skull Cavern, and found a dino egg. Day 81, I harvested my gemberries and got a star drop, and then I planted my greenhouse. Day 82, it rained. I stopped counting problems ages ago because, everything has been a problem, but this is problem number 4, or 44. It is nearing the end of fall. I have maxed out my gifts for the week with Leah. She's not at 10 hearts yet. What if it doesn't rain again? Oh, okay, we'll just craft a rain totem, you say. My foraging levels are nowhere near level 9. This is a panic. The one goal I thought I could complete, no problem, is now in jeopardy. It was also around this time I started cluing in that the rabbit I bought a week ago might not be producing any rabbit foot. Maybe I should have bought 2 or 3. Maybe I should have kept checking the traveling cart. Anyways, I did remember that serpents in the Skull Cavern have about a 1% chance of dropping a rabbit foot, so I should just be able to kill 100 to 150 and get one in the event that this rabbit lets me down. So then on day 83, I had no hops left or fruit to put in the kegs. Big fail. So I headed to the Skull Cavern to slay some more serpents. The next day, on day 84, it was the final day of fall, and no rain as I suspected, but I'm not even at 10 hearts yet with Leah, so it wouldn't have really mattered anyways. I am, however, foraging and chopping trees as much as possible, but both of these things are a finite resource right now. Also walk literally right by the traveling cart, and don't check it. On day 85, the winter bundle is completed, so now I can plant some winter seeds, and they do count towards foraging when you harvest them, so this was very timely. The next day, I planted my winter seeds and chopped every single tree I could find, and then on day 87, I got a duck feather, which is one more thing to check off my community center list, and then headed straight to the Skull Cavern to fight some more serpents. I am actually over 100 serpents killed by this point. Still no foot. I found a nautilus shell on day 88, which I needed for the community center. I crafted an iridium band, and I also crafted some more winter seeds. Day 89, I went to the Skull Cavern all day, and I barely saw any serpents. Day 90, obtained another star drop, and completed my second to last bundle. I unlocked the quarry and found a stone owl on my farm. Ironically, this has a way less chance of happening than finding a rabbit's foot from a serpent. Hashtag triggered. Day 91. I got Leah to 10 hearts, and now I need to make it rain. Literally and with money. Day 92. Found my first prismatic shard and got the galaxy sword, which will make the Skull Cavern way easier and hopefully can get through enemies a little bit quicker. Day 93. I cracked open a bunch of geodes and went back to the Skull Cavern. I cannot believe this, but right at the end of the night, I decided to use a staircase to see if I could find one more treasure room. Oh, and did I ever. Rain totems. I keep thinking, what if I just didn't use that staircase and just called it a night? So chancy, but so good. Day 94, I ran to obtain the pendant and proposed. Day 95, it was a good mine day, but at this point, I am over 200 serpents killed and still no rabbit's foot. Day 96, I died in the mines, but luckily, no big items lost. Day 97, it was my wedding day. Heck yeah, one goal officially completed. And then I had a final drop from my rabbit and did not get a rabbit's foot. So back to the caves we go. And you guessed it, no rabbit foot. Day 98, I went to the mines and found a prismatic shard, but again, no rabbit's foot. This also might be a good time to disclose that I completely gave up on the money goal. And so the reason I am so stressed about this rabbit foot is this is all I have, people. This is the only thing I have. Day 99, I fought so many serpents and I still am not finding a rabbit foot. I am over 350 serpents killed. This is actually a joke. So much for my lucky rings. Day 100, the final day. This spinner wheel has tormented me, but nothing has tormented me more than this lack of finding a rabbit foot. In my notes, I had final day, must spin whatever is the highest stakes. So, am I able to enter the Skull Cavern? Okay, thank goodness off to the Skull Cavern I go, but I still need to find this potential rabbit's foot, which is a very, very low chance. 378. 379. 380. This is so frustrating. 381. 382. I cannot believe this. I cannot believe this. My hands shaking. People were hoping that I wouldn't get one, quaking. I truly cannot believe this ending. I was convinced I missed my chance to get a rabbit foot from the traveling cart in the period where I stopped checking. I immediately ran to the guild to see how many serpents I had killed just to get this one drop. Okay, so let's recap. Money earned. I'm really embarrassed about this, but in my defense, it was really hard to stay focused on any one thing as I had to keep adjusting to the spinner wheel and what was most feasible to achieve. That first summer though, community center completed with only hours to spare, which I feel so happy about this one. Marriage to Leah completed. Even this one is kind of astounding because I never did hit level 9 foraging until I actually went to bed on day 100. So with how slow I was to gift Leah, plus the luau setback, This was luckier than I thought. I was even on a bigger time crunch than I even thought I was. Best friend, okay, I think we all know this one failed. Half the time Robin was on my farm and I forgot to gift her, and I think I ended up with 5 hearts here. However, I would have ended with more if I completed the bulletin board a bit quicker. So in summary, this was an absolute blast to play. I think now that I've done this once, I could take it even further with the spins next time. I did have some bad luck, but the final days getting the lucky totem and rabbit foot more than made up for it, and my lack of planning and foresight is probably the biggest reason for why this was so chaotic at the end. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you next time.